Yes.
All right, Ryan. Since we're just about 20 miles away from Siler City, can you tell us a little bit about the folks from Siler City who moved over to Tennessee and their barbecue?
Yeah, so the first place I actually ate whole hog barbecue, and first place I read about Ricky Parker. He was the first that kind of introduced me to barbecue in the life of a barbecue pitmaster, a whole hog pitmaster. But the first place I went for whole hog barbecue is run by a man named Chris Siler. There's a Siler Town, Tennessee, which is basically a farm that his family has owned for several generations, and his barbecue spot, Old Time Barbecue, it's called, used to do whole hog, and I asked him, how long he'd been doing whole hog, what's the history, or what's the past, his connection to whole hog, or just barbecue, and he said that his family, several generations back, he couldn't exactly tell me, moved from Siler City, North Carolina, to West Tennessee, just east of Memphis, founded a community. And he said, and I think he's right, that both had a heavy pig culture, barbecuing hog culture, and it's a bit of linkage, I think, between North Carolina, which is the capital of whole hog barbecue, eastern North Carolina, and West Tennessee, which at one point in time had overtaken North Carolina in almost the number of restaurants, but certainly the renown that they were getting. Ricky Parker became very famous for a short time, and what initially drew me to whole hog was, or a thought that a something deeper, maybe a book might be possible, was that these whole hog restaurants in West Tennessee were going away, were dying off in various ways. Some had a new generation, children just didn't want to be part of the restaurant business. Others were switching to cooking shoulders because of the economics. It's cheaper to cook a shoulder, less labor involved in cooking a shoulder. You don't need the amount of fuel, the wood to cook a shoulder. Others had switched to gas and electric cooking. There's still several whole hog barbecue places around Siler Town, in Henderson and Chester counties in Tennessee, but only 1.5 now do whole hog over wood, fire and smoke.
So how about in North Carolina? How many such places are open?
So they are growing, which is exciting, because when I first started doing the research in North Carolina in 2011, a small handful. So we have 2 in Ayden, we have 1 in Goldsboro, there's 1 in Farmville. Where am I forgetting? There's less than half a dozen.
Durham.
Well, yeah, right. But just over the past year, 3 have opened in the state. So Wyatt here in Durham. There's a place in Asheville called Buxton Hall, and Sam Jones, who is the 3rd generation pitmaster at the Skylight Inn and has been the face of that place, which is the most famous barbecue place, I think, in the country, not just whole hog barbecue, but any type of barbecue. He recently opened his own shop in Greenville, Winterville. And it's a fancier joint. It's not the bare bones if you've ever been to Ayden and the Skylight Inn, which is an austere kind of place. The fanciest thing is the big silvery Capitol dome on the roof. But Sam Jones opened a place with a full menu, with salads, with brisket, with ribs, things that the Skylight Inn dare never touch. So
Beer.
With beer and alcohol, which is a whole fight, because he comes from a dry family in a dryish county. So things are changing in the state, happily. I look forward to see what happens in the future. I think we'll have more and more barbecue places. 2 years ago, a authentic Carolina style, he calls it, whole hog place opened in Bushwick, a neighborhood in Brooklyn. So that is really the height. When an authentic wood-fueled barbecue place, whole hog barbecue place, opens in Brooklyn, it's not downhill from there. But that, like, that's the I don't know where it goes from there. I guess abroad, across the ocean.